Well, hello, it's me, Mrs Blackwell. Why am I wearing a construction helmet? I'm going to tell you at the end. In April, I started the month with The Homemade God by Rachel Joyce. Rachel is the author of at least 6 books, but this is the first one that I have read, and I picked it up entirely based on this cover. For me, covers don't come much more appealing than this one. It's the story of Vic Kemp and his 4 adult children. Vic is a famous artist known mostly for his slightly kitschy artwork of minimally dressed women. He's in his 70s and he announces to his children over dinner that he plans to marry a woman in her 20s that he has met on the internet. The story quite quickly moves from there to their lake house in Italy, where a tragedy unfolds, and what starts out seeming like it's going to be a murder mystery is actually a really solid family drama, great characters, and just dying to be made into a movie. Amma by Saraid de Silva. I mentioned this to you last month because I just started reading it and it was on the long list for the Women's Prize in Fiction. It is an intergenerational family story, 3 women in the same family, how their choices in their young lives have affected their adult life and also the lives of their descendants. I'm hedging on reminding you that this is a Kiwi author. 1, because I know some of you will immediately dismiss it, and 2, it potentially also sounds like I'm being apologetic. Let's put both of those things aside on this book. Let's read it now. When we hear from Saraid de Silva again in the future, which I just know we will, you can say you were ahead of the trend on this world-class piece of fiction. New short story from Andre Asserman, Room on the Sea. This is the story of Paul and Catherine, who are potential jurors in a jury pool in Manhattan. It covers the 5 days from when they meet each other to how their relationship grows over those days. Both are in their 60s, married to other people. If you liked the movies, the Richard Linklater movies, Before Sunrise and Before Sunset with Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, that romantic tension, will they, won't they, lots of conversations. If you liked any of that, then this would be a great choice of a book for you. At Business Book Club, we did The Diary of a CEO by Stephen Bartlett. Stephen is a business owner, investor. He is one of the investors on the UK Dragon's Den. He hosts a podcast with the same name, The Diary of a CEO, which is one of the top business podcasts pretty much all over the world. And the catch is that Stephen is only 30. So this book is written with a sort of youthful certainty that you would expect. I don't say that as a criticism, I say it almost as a compliment. It moves along, all 33 laws move along at a really good pace. They say everything they need to say, but nothing more. If you know a young person who's starting out in the workforce or building their own business, or even a jaded old person who might need to be refreshed on the laws of business and life, I can recommend The Diary of a CEO by Stephen Bartlett. Who is Government by Michael Lewis. Michael is the author of The Big Short, and he is joined in this collection of essays by a big number of well-known writers, including Dave Eggers and shop favourite Geraldine Brooks. They instead of looking at leaders of government, they have each individually chosen a department or a person who works inside the government, the US government, and they write a story about that person's life and the work that that person does for all of us. They examine everything from NASA, how the CPI is generated. That's of interest to anybody in a developed democracy. I listen to this on Libro FM as an audiobook, and the added bonus is that each writer narrates their own essay. They're quite short essays, so I approached this a little bit like a podcast, and I listened to 1 or 2 episodes each day when I was out for a walk. Mr Blackwell and I are heading to the UK in August for a very special wedding. My sister-in-law-to-be sent me this one, the Book Lovers Bucket List, Literary Tourism in Great Britain. And I also ordered in Best Day Walks of Great Britain from the Lonely Planet. I mention these because we don't stock travel guides at the shop as a matter of course, but most Lonely Planet guides come to us from Auckland, meaning we can get them in just a day or 2 for you. So if you're heading somewhere this year and you're curious whether there is a walking guide, a literary tourism guide, or anything else that you're interested in, come and see us. We'll look it up and we'll let you know if we can get a special guide for you. Lastly, last month a few of you mentioned that you quite liked seeing what was happening on the art book side of the business. So this month I've been experimenting with William Morris's paint and print set. This is a collection of 6 postcards and they come with everything you need to paint them in. They come with dry watercolour paint, which you just rehydrate with a little bit of water. It even comes with the brush, although to be honest, the brush itself is a little bit rubbish. So if you've got a brush at home, I'd recommend using your own brush. Here's a couple that I worked on. These colours in this palette aren't really for me, so I used my own palette of colours. Here's a high contrast one and a lot of bright colours, and one I'm working on at the moment in a sort of more low contrast, more classic William Morris colours. What I really liked about this is the postcards themselves aren't watercolour paper, but that has one advantage here. The navy blue parts are not absorbent. Whatever ink they've used means that it doesn't absorb anything. When you're doing your own art at home, you might have noticed that sometimes if you use a dark pigment liner and you paint over it, you lose some of the density from the darks. But because this doesn't absorb, even if you go a little bit outside of the line, you don't lose any of that density from the navy blue. So that's the William Morris paint and print set of 6 postcards with paint and brushes. Back to my hard hat. Why am I wearing a hard hat? Right now outside the bookshop, you might have heard some of it actually, we are getting a brand new road. They're completely resealing State Highway 2. We're also getting a pedestrian crossing that's going to come right inside our door. Until then, we have got almost negative foot traffic in Greytown. So more than ever, we will be super grateful and really appreciate your online business to incentivise that, as well as the 10% off that you can take of any of the books in stock that I have reviewed today. If you use the code ROADCONE, we will also throw in a chocolate bar with your order anytime between now and the end of May. See you again.